Busy working on the test.
So I'm gonna let Yubi get started here. But I just wanted to kind of let you guys know we were talking a little bit about what's going on. Is he just passed his test, and part of what we're building is a system where he'll probably run the next one, and then one of you that passes that wants to help the next time, you guys can tag team. What we actually want to do is to kind of create a rotating community of, so there's always someone up here helping that just passed, right? Because there's new little changes. I took my test 17 years ago. I'm not overly valuable when it comes to studying, right, in terms of this stuff. So, but we built this presentation really to kind of walk through not just the material. There's going to be a bunch of questions that he goes through, but really the thought process behind it. Done a great job, and we got to get people to pass this test because we got a whole bunch of work that needs to get done. So I'm going to kind of leave it up to him and be able to take it. We got water back there if you guys need anything. We got candy for right answers and all sorts of stuff. We're not too proud to beg, right? So participation. Right, participation. Good luck. All of you are taking the test, right, in the next, month, hopefully sooner with everything and stuff. We got a couple of you that are almost done with classes, 3 of you that's got things scheduled and stuff like that. So, y'all excited? Yep. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. He's donating and volunteering to kind of help create this stuff. So I really, really appreciate. I appreciate you doing that. Love y'all. And text me, Victor. I don't have your number, so I'm gonna get it from you, Sammy. Okay? Or from you, dear. Okay.
Well, welcome everybody.
Oh, come here,
Yes, for
quick. And the guys wanted to come.
What? Oh.
Come here. Come here for a second.
Hi.
I'm gonna say hi. We're laughing because come here, guys, for a second. The kids, for the last couple of years, we've been kind of rebuilding this stuff, and the kids are always like, "Who's the new people?" And so this is our first newly licensed class, so all of them are going to be licensed in the next month. So they're starting to meet new people again. So this is Ty, and this is me. That's graduating on Thursday. All right, 6th graders. I in the 4th grade. So we'll see you guys in bed. Thanks, man.
all right. Well, thank you guys for coming. Let you guys have to be doing other stuff and being here with me.
Look how lucky we are.
Part of what I want to do today is not just go over passing the test, but also the strategies that I use to pass the test. Because I don't want it to be overwhelming. Because I know you think of insurance and you're like, just roll your eyes back. And, you don't want to study any more than you have to. I also want to ask you guys if I could just, point out at you guys, ask a question, just to get the juices flowing. Because it's like having a baby. You start talking to him and you're like, say daddy, say daddy. You have no idea what you're saying. But if you get those juices flowing, eventually they'll start saying daddy back to your mommy. So but I'm not expecting right answers, wrong answers, whatever it is, just so because I want the juices to flow. Okay? Just to get you guys going, just to start thinking about some of this stuff. My name is Yubi, short for Ubaldo. Okay? Some of the stuff that I want to focus more on is the general insurance and the life. They don't really ask you a lot about this on the test.
They do or don't?
They don't. They might have 1 or 2 questions here and there, but it's not 100% part of the test for what it is. It's mainly just the general insurance and life and annuities, stuff like that. And this goes along with the riders.
Okay.
This, I really didn't see much of that.
Okay.
The long-term care.
Okay.
Take the phone asking for questions. Health and discipline, the same thing. I didn't see much of that. And then there's, when you guys studied on the, what is it called, the Pass Now, we had the option to choose 52 or 32 hours. Right? I did the 52 just because it included more questions, and it allowed me to study different question and answers versus just sticking to 32, you know? Because I wanted to put the time into it. Because I was involved in this business like 10 years ago. I had taken my test, but I said, you know what, I'm going to take the whole 52 hours just to revisit everything, you know? And that helped me out doing that. I mean, it takes a little longer, but like I said, you gotta put the time in.
So what do you do after the 32 hours?
The 32 hours? It's the same as this. It's just, see how the difference is 50 questions? This is 150 questions in the exam. This is
You have to spend 52 hours online. They're tracking 52 hours?
Yeah.
So after you've done the 32 hours in person, then you do another...
No, you do online. Online. The online course you take.
Oh, I did.
You can pass.
You can pass.
Those modules that you're supposed to be studying.
When you sign up, they give you the option to sign up for the 32 or 52.
That's not what they're talking about when I went to class for 32 hours a week.
No, this is online studying.
Well, there's, because when I took, there's an online, and I know you can take it like in the classroom.
I did the class.
Yeah.
But
Because they have that
32
option.
hours.
You gotta go to
That's
certain
about
offices to have
52.
that. You know, Brett chose to do the online.
So this 32 hours or 52 hours, whichever you choose, is just to reinforce whatever you learned in class, right?
Yeah. This is the same thing. You get the same license. You know, I just chose this one myself because I wanted to have more questions. Just because I wanted to refresh everything. I knew some of the stuff already.
So if I did the 32 hours in person, I could do the other 20 hours online?
You could, but this should be enough.
That should be
Yeah, just to get this license, that should be enough.
Okay.
It's kind of, you know, some people don't want to put too much time studying that, you know, the focus is, like it says here, passing is 60%. It's not much. You guys want to know what I passed it with? 68. It's not hard. Well, it might be, but as long as you pass, 8% is over the 60. It's passing. Passing is passing. You know. And then on this one, you must get 90 questions right, and this one is 60 questions. And there's a simulation on POL that you can take. I don't know if you guys have taken it, but it'll kind of put you in the ballpark to see where you're at. You know, I know online, if you need more time, if you're not passing with the 60%, you need more time, then go ahead and do those tests. You know, just to kind of put you in that between this range. You know. Come on in, find a seat.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
You're doing good.
We'll pass these out to you guys.
Hey.
And you guys, this is something to keep in mind when you guys go take the test.
Bring your brain.
Yes. Something to keep in mind when you go. I know some of you are scheduled to take a test soon, within a couple weeks or tomorrow. I'll go over this now so you guys can. When you guys arrive to go take the test, you gotta have a valid ID, your debit card or check, because they for your fingerprint. If you do not pass, do not take your fingerprints, and you will get reimbursed for this fingerprint fees. America will reimburse. Yeah. Yeah, that's. Yeah, America reimburses you for this. Just bring back all your documents that they gave you. You know, but if you do not pass, do not take your fingerprints. Don't take them out and you call Stacy and reschedule your test again and to see where, you know, analyze what happened, you know, see where you're at, so maybe do more, a little more study. But that's why this course I'll go over some of the questions that they ask you. It's kind of tricky what they ask you. Just want you to see what it is, how to look at the question, so you won't get confused. But the training is, we want you to pass, you know. It's the whole goal. Doesn't matter what it is. I passed with a 68. Passing is passing, you know. We're not, it's not like in college, you gotta get your GPA high, you know, get those A's and all that. Just pass, you know. Now I'm gonna show you how to pass some of the strategies that I've used. So where should we put the study? Like I said, this is what they ask you, and then this. This is what the test really focuses on. Not so much on this. This is right here, part of what you guys need to learn. Before you answer any questions that they're asking you on the test, you gotta know what it's asking you. Because sometimes what we were talking about earlier was the question gives you a statement, but then at the end it's asking you something else. Because it'll give you a statement about an annuity or a life insurance provision or something, but then at the end of it, it says except. And that's a key word that they use because it's not asking you what they're telling you. It's asking you what it's not. So then in the answers that it gives you all the right answers, and then at the bottom it gives you the wrong answer. But the question is asking you except, which is to choose the wrong answer. So then that's why a lot of people get confused because they're thinking they want to answer right, but in the question you're supposed to answer the wrong. What doesn't fit yes. You know, that's one of the things that you guys gotta pay attention to. And then once you know the real question, there's one or two of the choices. A lot of things when the question also at the end it says except, but then it has that all of the above. Hey, welcome. Sit down. At the end of the question, it says just something to expect in the test. I mean, when you go take the test, what to bring. You know, I'll go over that before the end of the class again. At the question at the end, it'll give you a multiple choice. It says all of the above. Like I said, they give you all the right answers, one wrong, and then all of the above. And you're thinking all of the above because of what the statement said, but it's asking you except. Except is asking you to answer the wrong one. You know what I mean? So it's just stuff like that you got to look out for. That'll help you understand what the question is asking you. All right, so I want you guys to participate. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answers. We just want to learn here from one another. The top here says, which of the following characteristics will not stop an insurance company from accepting an insurance risk? What is the question asking? You know.
What are the acceptable insurance risks is what it's asking.
Yes. What are they willing to accept as a risk? You know, keywords. What are the characteristics? Not stop. And then insurance risk. This is a term they use a lot. So another thing that I did was I learned the terminology. I had to learn what insurance risk was. You know, what I did, I had this book, all this. I wrote down stuff on it. I didn't know what it was. I wrote it down, wrote the answer to it, and it made me understand what this word meant. So then when I was reading the question, I knew what it was asking me because I knew what this word meant. Okay, because insurance is every business has its own language. Come from automotive, whatever it is, it has its own language. You know, same thing here. One of the things I did, understand the terminology, you'll understand the question. Okay, and in this scenario, the answer is B. The item to be insured is part of a large group or homogeneous exposure unit. Okay. That gives a brief description of what it is. This, clarifies it more. Insurance companies prefer insurers that are part of a large group with similar risk so they can understand the scope of the risk and charge the appropriate premium. Meaning, if we're all part of the same risk, we're all susceptible to a certain kind of injuries, whatever it is, because of our scenario where we live, then they all categorize us together and they know what to charge us, as a group.
Because there's a very amount of unpredictability in our group.
Yeah, because they'll know what the risk will be of a loss. Okay? So are you clear with this? Yeah? Again, what is the question asking you? Always ask yourself that. When you go, Tony Green has a CLV certification. Which of the following names will be automatically approved for use as his agency's name?
What is CLV?
I was just gonna ask.
CLU is when you establish a business, you cannot just put your name on it and put it. You know, you have to go to a certification to make sure nobody else has that same name. Okay, what is it down here?
Certified life underwriter or something? I don't know. Okay, that's.
I have it. I just don't. I don't want to focus on. I want you guys to put the time into stuff like this. I want you to understand what to put the time into. You know. The answer here is D. None of these will ever be automatically approved. No name is ever automatically approved for licensed use. There are always procedures and background checks to administer. Like I said, if you open up a business, you cannot just put a name on top of it. You have to go through the licensing to get it approved, because if somebody else has the same name, the same type of business, then there's a conflict there. You know, like you cannot go open up another Apple.
Oh, when they say background checks, they're not necessarily talking about his background check as to his character or his, but rather a name. They're searching, doing a name search.
Name search, yes.
Oh, okay, like
Name
like
Yeah.
doing a fictitious business name statement or something like that. They'll check to see that it's not already.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then as times are changing, this applies to internet stuff, too.
Okay.
You know, websites, all that stuff. So, what are the key words here? Everybody know?
Automatically.
Automatically. Approved.
Yeah.
And then
Agency name.
his agency's name. Like, let's go over this. Tommy Green and Associates. Tommy Green, CLU and Company, Green Insurance Agency. None of these will ever be automatically approved. Insurance, nothing's ever automatically approved. You have to go through the process. Just like what we're doing now, what you're going to do later when you take the test, everything has to go through a process. An agent follows the rules and terms of his agent contract. He is exercising his blank authority. Anybody want to guess? Express. Most of you know it. They told me to shut you guys up before sending you guys home. No answer. There you go. Express authority. What are the key words here? Rules and terms of his agent contract. He's expressing authority, in the legitimate authority written within a contract. He has the express authority to what he's able to do in his contract. Yeah, he's able to do certain things. Also, questions like this could ask you, what is he not allowed to do? You know, so you got to pay attention to those key words again. What is he not allowed to do? Because you could see this, and then at the end here, it says except, and then all the answers down here it says what he's not allowed to do. You know, so that you just got to pay attention. I think there's some in here that it says except on there. We'll. This right here, this throws people off because it's not really asking anything. It's just stating something. Okay, like I said, know the keywords, you'll know what it's talking about. And here it's talking about non-contributory group policy. What does that mean? In a non-contributory plan, the employer pays all of the premium, so they must cover all eligible employees, which is B, 100% of eligible employees must participate. If you know what this means, you know it's that. Because in the test, it will not give you this sometimes. It'll just tell you this. Understand? So put the time in outside of PFS to learn what some of this terminology means. This way you'll understand what it is, you know? Rank from lowest to highest the amount of monthly income that will result from the following annuity settlement option. Okay, what is this asking? These are some of the options that it gives us. Life refund with option, life with 10-year earned, straight life, life with 10-year earned, life refund option. See how it's confusing, switching words around? Anybody want to take a guess?
D.
D?
Life refund option.
B, right? B or D?
I don't think I remember reading this yet. I don't think I've studied this yet about annuities.
Actually, A.
Straight line,
The
the
lower
higher.
the guarantee of payments or return on money, the lower the guarantee income. The more risk the annuity takes during the annuity period, the higher the monthly income.
Straight line has to be taxed.
Rank from lowest to highest.
Okay, so I still don't necessarily understand the answer. The larger the guarantee of payments, I wouldn't have known which one of those was the larger of guarantee of payments.
Let's start here from the top.
What is life with refund option for what? I don't understand the answer.
Let's talk about annuities.
And I don't.
Yes.
That's the one thing I don't know. I just don't grasp what
Yeah, annuities
annuities
have-
actually are.
Yeah.
What they do.
Annuities have different categories, like for the years, you know. And here it's asking to rank it from the lowest to highest, the amount of income that will result from the following annuity option.
Right.
Lowest to highest.
So you can, right there, you can take two to choose from. The straight life is going to be the highest, and there's only two that have straight life at the end.
Why is straight life highest? Why is that higher than life with refund option? I don't know what those are.
Straight life means you're not taking anything out.
What is that?
So you're going to get the most out of it.
Basically, the way I understood it,
Uh-huh.
the more risk you have on each individual thing is the more you get at the moment. For example, something like straight life, if something happens and you die, and you didn't get all the money that you put in the first place, your premium, they don't get you anything else. If you have, for example, 10 years, you have a 10-year safety period. So your survivors or your dependents get 10 years of that payment, and that's it. And the refund option means that even if you die before they finish paying your premium, you get that chunk of money back, 100% of it. So, for example,
You're 1,000% right. Like,
And
this
I-
is fantastic.
But I don't understand.
I
any of
know,
it.
but you can
It's like
explain
he was
it.
talking a different language.
Yeah.
You gotta go back up again because annuities are the biggest thing I do not
an annuity is you put down money either all at once or over time. The thing being, once you reach a certain age, they start giving you back that money. So you don't have to worry about income for yourself. You don't have to worry about keeping a job. You don't need to worry about your future. When
So let me
you
ask you this: is an annuity basically a financial instrument where you're basically letting somebody do your saving for you by throwing them some money here? Here, you keep it for my old age, and then start giving it back to me
Basically.
after you've invested it for a while and let it earn. Then you just give it back to me, so I'll have something to live on.
But the benefit is,
How is that different from like an IRA or something? You
well,
know.
listen, the benefit is if you live longer than the amount you put in,
Yeah.
they still keep paying.
And where does that money come from? If it's no longer your money, it's the annuity's money.
Yes.
The company, the
Okay,
annuity
so
company.
this will be good because this is great, right? This is what. Oh, this is. And let me do this because I need to think on paper real quick. And this will be. So.
Thank you. I mean, I know this is going to help me because
Yeah.
I know what you said made sense as soon as I understand the
So,
basic premise of an annuity.
And this will be. This is why this is. So one of the things to think about is how. What is an annuity? So an
Yes.
annuity, and this will be good at all of us. I mean, this is good from the business side. Okay, so an annuity is an investment, right? Vehicle.
An investment vehicle.
And it's an investment vehicle. Sorry, I went mash on there. Mash there. Vehicle. There are three phases to an annuity. There's an in phase, there's an out phase, and then there's what's called an annuity date.
Okay.
Okay. An in phase is monies that you put in, right? The premium, right? In terms of that. So you send in $100 a month, or you give them $200,000.
Okay. All
Okay.
at once.
All at once.
Or over
The
time?
value of an annuity is the money grows tax deferred.
Okay.
So if you're 30 years old and you give them $300,000 today, that money grows from age 30 to age 36 to 600,000. The money doubles in 6 years. You're not paying any taxes as it grows. It's in a sheltered account.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the value of an annuity is the money grows tax deferred,
Just like
an IRA
or a 401k.
or a 401k.
Okay.
But there's no maximum you can contribute
Oh.
to an annuity.
Okay, that's one good thing. I
Okay,
couldn't
yeah, so
figure
it
out how to
serves
do
that, so it grows for that process. The out phase is, in a traditional annuity, is an income phase, where that's what they were talking about, where they're saying, okay, we're now going to contribute and give you income.
Okay.
When an annuity annuitizes, that date, it's a lot like, type earmuffs, cover your ears for a second, puberty. You're good? Everything is different. Girls are yucky before, they're not so yucky after, right? Your whole worldview, just somehow you wake up and you're like, where did she come from, right? It's just that experience. Because what happens in a traditional annuity when it annuitizes is let's say there's $600,000 in a traditional annuity, based on the question that was asked.
Okay.
What you do is you sell your $600,000 to the insurance company
That sold you the annuity.
that sold you the annuity
Okay.
for income.
Okay.
So what they do is they say, okay, you're 65 years old. Statistically, you're going to live till you're 78, so that's 13 years. If we run this at a 2% interest rate, this money's going to grow to $800,000. This is, let's call it 150 months. So we're going to give you $2,500 a month. What they do is they figure out how long you're going to live. They're going to give you some sort of interest rate. They're going to take this money out to how long you plan on living. They break it down into a monthly check, and they say, we're going to pay you $2,500 a month, and if you live to 108, Terry's right, we're going to pay you $2,500 a month. You only have enough money to pay you till you're 78, but we're going to pay you till you're 108. So this money, the insurance company lost all of that money. In quotes, lost. Does that make sense?
Right. Oh, okay.
Y'all with me? So it's an income policy. Now, so what they do is they say, okay, but if on your 66th birthday, they've sent you $30,000 and then you have a heart attack and die, you still have $570,000.
Start that again.
So let's say it's 66.
A year later.
A year later, they sent you the $2,500 a month or whatever it is. A year later, you die. There's still $570,000 in this account,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
How much does your family get? If you take the income, you get zero. Because you sold them your $600,000 for $2,500 a month for as long as you live.
Oh, it's a gamble.
Does this make sense?
Okay.
So, the insurance company says, if you do this, then you gamble here because they're gambling here.
Okay.
Now, if you contributed, let's say, this $300,000, does this make sense?
Okay.
And on day, so you got 300 or 600.
Okay.
If you had a return premium program, how much are you going to get?
I don't know what a return premium.
What do you think about the words? You're a smart woman. We all have. This is really, really critical. We can't throw fog in our head. We know these words. We know the word return and we know the word premium.
They return your premium.
So what was your premium?
300,000.
300,000. So if the insurance company is going to return the premium, are they going to continue to pay you $2,500 a month?
No.
No, because they're on the hook for $300,000. So now instead they're like, well, if you want the return premium, now we're going to pay you $1,700 a month because we have the opportunity for higher risk.
So then if you kick the butt at 66,
Your family would get $270,000.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
300 premium minus what they'd already. Well, they'd only paid out 1,700.
1,700 or 2,000, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they did 10-year certain. What does 10-year certain mean? They're going to do what for 10 years? Pay what?
A fixed amount? Or
a certain income.
Uh-huh.
But they're going to guarantee you for 10 years. Now, you were 65 and they figured you were going to die for 13. So they go, now, what does the insurance company want? What does the insurance company want?
Profit.
So if they're going to give you a guarantee that they're going to pay you for 10 years, are they going to pay you $2,500?
No.
No, because they don't need to do that. They want to make profit. So they say, if you want us to guarantee you to get income for 10 years, we're going to pay you $1,300 because we're exposed. So if the question is, which one is going to give you the highest income, is it life, return a premium for 10 years, which one's going to give you the highest income monthly without knowing any of the dynamics? Which one has to pay you the most?
Life.
The life, because they're taking the biggest risk, but you're taking the biggest risk. So they're like, if you're willing to bet the bulk of your money, we're going to pay you more because the insurance company wants to entice you to take this option.
Right.
How did the 10-year guarantee end up being more of a risk than paying them out?
I just made up the numbers, so it could be the other. I've never seen a return of premium, so it's probably the other way around. The 10 years probably $1,700, and the return of premium.
But why is the 10-year even lower than the life? I mean, if you live to 108, they're really more exposed.
Correct, but if you died after the end of the first year,
Uh-huh.
the company still has to pay out of this $570.
With the 10-year.
With the 10-year, they got to pay you for 10 year family for 10 years, no matter what. Versus here, they might only have to pay you for a year.
You're paying the family for 10 years. I thought you were paid.
You're paying
Well,
the
but
Oh, see,
beneficiary.
I didn't understand. I thought you were paying the person who's still alive
Well,
and
no,
who's brought on the
well, no, you are, but as a
Oh.
10-year, because if they die, they can't pay them anymore.
Okay.
So they've got to.
So if that person dies at 11 years after, they go right back to the same thing as if it was a life.
Correct. They keep the rest of it.
Say that again?
So what happens is let's say that you took the $1,700 a month
Uh-huh.
and after 11 years they died, and let's say there was still $200,000 in the account, the insurance company keeps the $200,000
It's 11 years.
because it's after the 10
Oh,
years.
so the 10 years starts tolling when the annuitant starts withdrawing, not when he dies.
Right.
I thought maybe if he died after 5
No,
years, then
it's-
the 10 years starts.
No, the 10
Oh,
years
oh.
starts at a period, at puberty,
annuity date. Okay. Okay.
not at take date.
Okay. Good. See, I wouldn't get any of that from studying online. This is so helpful.
So does this make sense? So understanding the annuity, this allows us to understand, right? And there's all sorts of different games and different things, but they're going to talk about an annuity date just so that you know we market annuity, but we don't actually have an annuity date. As a company, we have annuities that never annuitize, so we never actually sell our money and stuff like that, right? So you guys will learn about that. You don't need to know that now, but I always have to give that commercial that we have annuities, but they don't have the annuity date because they suck. Okay.
So that's why my answer that there's only 2 there that ended in straight life. So there was only 2 to choose from because straight life has to be the most.
Correct.
So out of the 4, there were only 2 possibilities.
So when you're looking at this and you're like, okay, so one, if you can break down what they're asking, it's a lot easier. That's why I was saying, I'm sure you went through, but they're asking 2 questions. Question number 1 is, what are you asking? Question number 2 is, what's the answer? Right? And most of this stuff, even though it's foreign, you know what return premium means.
Right.
Like, if you stop and think about it, you know what those words mean. When you read it in a sentence like this, it's easy to get overwhelmed, and I don't know what those words mean, but you're like, let's say that this was joint life. There's no joint life in here, but let's say it was joint life. What would joint life mean? Think about it. Yes, you do. What's joint mean? Two. What would joint life mean? Two people. Who are the two people that would be able to be in a joint life for an investment?
Husband and wife.
A husband and wife. So what would joint life mean? Okay, so we've got the name of it now. Now how does it, we know what 10-year certain means, right? So Oscar, what's joint life, what's joint life mean?
That's basically insurance for like a married couple. Right?
Okay, so if we chose, if you and Candy had $600,000 in your annuity and you chose joint life, what would that mean?
For 300.
No, not on the annuity side. What it means is they take your $600,000. O'Hara, what do you think joint life means?
It's either one, whoever dies first, the other one gets the amount.
What joint life means is they're going to pay you $1,300 a month, but we're going to pay until both of you die. So we'll pay $1,300 for Bill and Sally, $1,300, but it's not tied to here, it's tied to Bill. Joint life it's tied to Bill and Mary.
So it's a greater risk.
It's a greater risk for the company.
Right.
Why? Let's say Bill's 70 and Mary's 30.
That happens.
That happens. A joint life program works in that situation because Bill's going to die, Mary's not.
Right.
So it's a pension option for disparity in age.
Wow.
The company's taking a bigger risk, so are they going to pay the higher for life or joint life?
They're gonna pay higher for life.
Higher for life.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's less.
Because it's less risk to the company.
Right. Does the company have a right to refuse an annuity if there is such a disparity in age?
It's written in. But what they do is they figure out how much income is tied based on their
It's
risk.
just gonna get less.
They're going to get less income. So if you had two 60-year-olds with joint life, or you had a 70 and a 30, right? The same 600,000. The 70 and the 30 is going to get a lower monthly income than the two 60s.
Would the husband and wife just be better off each having their own separate annuities?
Well, if they're better off if they never annuitize and they work with Great America.
Okay.
But that's, and I'm incredibly impressed. I'm telling you, man, this gentleman is incredibly articulate, clear with your communication.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Really, really good. So, I'm sorry I didn't want to jump in, but understanding the annuities and having that process is kind of an integral part of what this is. Okay, so that's one of the pieces. The biggest thing, though, is you could stare at this. And I don't care if you guys go to the next question and you get confused because we're leaving here in a second, right? Break down what it's asking. And that's the single most important thing, right? Which of the following will not be considered speculative risk? Okay, I don't know what this answer is, but what's the word speculative mean?
Gamble.
Gamble. Okay, so if you look at this stuff, these are all words. Oh, I don't know anything about insurance. No, but we know what these things are.
So they're looking for, since they have the word not up there, they're actually looking for an answer that is a safe risk in your answer.
Which of these is not a speculative risk? So every week your client pays $200 on the lotto. Is the lottery a speculative risk?
Yes.
That's a dumb answer. Do we know that one? Gone. Right? Any action that could do harm to your client's well-being, such as reckless driving.
Yes.
Is reckless driving a speculative
Yes,
risk?
yes.
Your client invests 5% of his salary in a defined pension plan at his work. Is that speculative risk?
No, that's a good
No.
question. That's good.
Right? All of the above involves some risk. Now here's the thing. Everything involved, like this is where you can't be you on these questions.
Right.
Because you can read this and go, well, what happens if the company goes bankrupt? Because all a pension is a promise to pay. And Tom Rowley said that a pension to pay is in who's paying it. You could go down that rabbit hole and outthink yourself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Go do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? No, it's what? This one?
No, C.
No,
C.
B, any situation that, hold on, so this is, I don't actually know the answer. Richard's right, any situation that can result in harm, but no chance of financial gain is pure risk,
Oh.
but not a speculative risk. Here's an, so here's knowing the terms, okay?
Pure risk.
Pure risk, right? So this is a risk, but it doesn't have financial gain.
Speculative as well.
Speculative risk has both.
Okay,
The gain and the loss.
okay. Wow.
This make sense?
So if the question would have said pure risk, then it was just pure loss.
Okay.
Okay. Speculative means both. There's a gain, there's a loss.
Oh, a gain and a loss.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right.
You would not be considered. Yeah, because you
There's
can't get
potential for
financial
gain
gain
and
from
loss.
this.
Oh, that's right. Pure risk is either a loss or no change. I
Yes.
just read that the other day.
Yes.
So, good?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You're in good hands?
Sir.
You guys figured this stuff out?
Excellent. Okay.
I have
That's
some-
tricky.
Okay.
I have to remember that speculative.
This word has two different,
Could be loss or gain.
yeah, which is pure risk or speculative risk.
So my 401k is a speculative risk, but if I've done it wisely, I hopefully it's going to pay off.
If the markets are right, it goes up, not go down. So, okay. Yes.
And like knowing what that means, but also if you read the question, if it was not there,
Yes.
which the following would be considered.
Yeah. Would not be considered. Would not. See? Yes.
Yeah.
Keywords.
Yeah, filter out.
Also, one of the things with questions like that
Uh-huh.
is they need you to try and think of what the answer is before you see the answers themselves. Like that, which is not a speculative risk.
Uh-huh.
So you start thinking, okay, what's a safe situation?
Mhm.
So if they let you think
Uh-huh.
when they're just asking a speculative risk when there are multiple types of risk.
Yeah.
So you're letting them trick you either. for the answers.
Yes, that's a good point. Yes,
So-
good point.
You know, keywords. You know, look for those keywords on there. Next question, how does the IRS classify the two different types of retirement accounts? What does classify mean?
What category?
Category, yes.
Right.
Qualified or
Qualified and unqualified,
Retire-
fully funded and unqualified, qualified and unqualified, contributory and non-contributory.
See.
C, qualified and unqualified,
Needs some certain IRS guidance.
because it's IRS, you have to follow certain guidelines when they, as far as retirement accounts go. You have to follow certain, as far as tax laws go. Qualified means a plan meets certain IRS guidelines, so it receives beneficial tax treatment such as tax deferral. Non-qualified means it does not meet those guidelines and therefore does not receive beneficial tax treatment. Once again, it's asking, how does the IRS classify the two different types? The two different types is qualified and non-qualified. So it either qualifies or it doesn't.
Okay.
But then again, you could think qualified and unfunded. Once again, learning what the terminology means, you'll understand what to answer. You'll think, well, this is dumb, this is not it. You know what I mean? Another
then
one here,
D-
contributory and non-contributory.
Yeah.
Okay, because you contribute to it or you don't.
Mhm.
You know, that could also throw you off
Yeah.
right there. But
But
the
that's-
technical term is qualified and non-qualified.
Because contributory and non-contributory are true, but that's not a tax it's not a tax designation.
No,
It's just a way like maybe only your employer puts in and you don't, or maybe you do contribute.
Are you contributing or are you not?
Mhm.
To what? To a qualified or a non-qualified? And then the next one is for you guys, us. No, it's not. Which qualified plan is characterized by having a non-deductible contribution and tax-free distribution. Yes. That's where you gotta learn. If you learn this, what each one means, you'll know what it's asking. Which is right with Roth IRA. Contributions to a Roth IRA are not tax deductible. to encourage investing for retirement. Roth IRAs allow for tax-free withdrawals after 5 years and at least the age 59 and a half. You know, this is simple stuff. It has basic meaning to it. There's certain guidelines that each one of these follows, which is easy to learn, to understand. It doesn't break it down too much. But once it compares it to other stuff, then it'll throw you off if you don't know what each one means. There you go. That's for us. E&O coverage. What does that mean? Anybody know? It's for mistakes. Errors, yeah, that's right. Omissions.
Errors and omissions.
Maybe an agent makes a mistake, it's covered, you know. One of the main purposes of errors and omissions E&O coverage is to protect the agent in case of an unintentional negligence. That's what they have underwriters to cover all this stuff. They go over, you know, you can write a policy, but underwriters go over it and they make sure that what you did was right. Okay. A protects an agent in the case of unintentional negligence. That's what errors and omissions is. All of the following are characteristics of the social insurance program known as Social Security. Once again, it's throwing you off here.
Step.
Again, right
They're
there.
looking for what doesn't fit.
Yes, but it's throwing you off by saying social insurance program known also as Social Security. It's telling you the same thing. They're just throwing you off thinking insurance.
So we don't usually call it social insurance.
No, we call it Social Security. The answer is A. Full retirement age is 65 for all persons born after 1937, which is except. That's the wrong answer. Wrong answer to answer correctly. Does that make sense? This is what I was talking about earlier. Social Security, what is it not? That's what it's asking you.
Oh, really? So it's not based on the beneficiary pay?
Yeah. Well, it used to be 65. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So what is the scale? I mean, well, like what's the age scale?
Yeah. I think last time I remember, what is it? It's 10 and a half. Now they keep moving it up.
No. It was everyone was 65. Now it's 66 if you're up to a certain age, and then I guess it must be 67 at a certain age.
In a certain time period,
When
they
you're
can
born.
age group. Myself,
Okay.
you know, I'm 66.
Mhm.
And I would be like, in 66 to get my full time.
Right.
Right.
But older people, they only have 65.
Right, yeah.
Right. Used to be 65.
Yeah, I think it's because of funds. There's not enough funds. But we all follow this?
Right, yes.
Social insurance, Social Security, known as, it's the same thing, but it's throwing you off by asking you this. Except, again, what is it asking you? You know? It's keywords you got to look for. That's why when you read it, don't just glance at it thinking, okay, Social Security, okay. And then it could have under here all of the above. You're thinking you're answering all of the above because most of these are right, and it falls into that category, but it's asking you except to answer the wrong one. Okay? Also, there's this. I got this email from Stacy's with all the questions and answers, which is what I wrote on here. What I did was just wrote down the question and the answer. But when you go take the test, it changes the words around, but it's asking you the same thing.
Right.
But it's changing. The word is changed, the way it's asked. You know. The client receives a lump sum of inheritance. He'd like to use the money to create a lifetime income since he'll be retiring soon. He purchases an annuities again, and wishes to receive payments beginning in 2 months. What did he buy? Flexible premium, immediate annuity, Single premium, deferred annuity, single premium, unit annuity, flexible premium, deferred
C.
annuity.
C.
C. Yeah. Any organization in 12 months or less from the effective date is an immediate annuity. A single premium annuity involves depositing one premium payment. So, depositing one premium payment, single premium, and he received it immediately because it was within the 2 months. It was immediately. Deferred means it was put off for a certain period of time.
As long as it's within 12 months, then it's considered immediate.
Yes, immediate, yeah. Like I said, annuities have different, like what it's covering, different categories. Learn the categories of what each one is, and you'll understand what is asking you, you know. I mean, we could sit here and cover all of this stuff, but we won't have time, you know. It's something that you gotta put on your own, time on your own to understand what annuity means. And what I did was I broke down what annuity means and the categories that annuities have. Once I understood that, I think, okay, I know what annuities means. I know when it's asking me a question, I know what it's going to be talking about. You know, based on how much he's putting in, when he's getting it out on the annuities. Because that's what annuities is, how much you're putting in, and when are you going to get it out. The applicant works 2 different jobs. The underwriter will rate it according to which job. Okay, what is an underwriter? Anybody know?
The one who reviews the application.
Yes, somebody that reviews the application before it gets approved.
Right. Is it on the one with the most risk?
D.
The most hazardous.
The job that is most hazardous. You know, regardless of hours worked or income, the most hazardous job will be used in the rating process. If you're one of those line workers that does electrical lines, then it's a hazard job.
Right.
You know, those guys get hazard pay. You know, that's what they categorize you as, based on what you do.
And so the life insurance is cost.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because it gets a higher risk. Higher risk. Simple question. You know, keyword, underwriter. Just knowing what that means. Which of the following are common provisions found within many life insurance policies? Once again, common provisions found in a life insurance policy. Anybody know?
C.
C. Anybody want candy? Yes. What do you want? Sorry.
Say wherever.
Anybody else?
What are the choices?
A lot.
A lot.
Smarties. You got a lot of smarties in here. You're smarties. Which of the following are common provisions found within a life insurance policy?
C.
C. You guys think C?
Yes.
That's A.
Really?
Reinstatement. You know what that is? To reinstate a policy.
Oh, yes.
The entire contract and incontestability.
So what is reinstatement?
When you let your
When it
policy
lapses.
lapse and then you reinstate it.
So it'll have provisions for how to reinstate it?
Yeah, and
Or
at a
what
certain time.
conditions it'll be reinstated under.
Yeah. Same thing as with your license. You have a certain amount of time to reinstate it before you get.
So every policy does have a grace period, but that's not actually in the language of the policy itself. Is that just like, is that why it's not? And also for pre-existing conditions, I mean, that's given consideration before they'll give you a policy, but again, it's maybe not in the actual policy.
Once again,
Provisions.
provision.
Yeah.
The most common ones. If you have certain restrictions, you had a certain illness before, then it'll go into different categories. But here you got common provisions. What are the most common ones? Just somebody basic with doesn't smoke, is healthy, just You know, that's what it's asking you here.
Okay,
Come to it, like Brett said, don't put yourself into it too much,
okay,
because then you'll break it down more than it has to be.
okay, all right.
So reinstatement, fire contract, and contestability. Of the following, which is not one of the three major loss exposures faced by insurers? Loss exposures faced by insurers. Anybody know?
Financial loss.
Which one is not?
C.
I
C.
say liability.
Financial, which is not one of the three major losses.
Not one of the three major.
Well, human
Loss
loss would seem
exposure.
very major. That's why we should get life insurance.
Property law.
It's financial loss, losing a job,
Let's see, financial loss.
Financial.
but I don't understand why.
Financial loss are not one of the three major loss exposures.
It says which one is not one
It's
of the
not.
three.
But to me, it would seem like a huge exposure. Everybody faces financial disaster.
But that's
They
not
lose a job.
what they're asking is, which is the most common type of insurance? You have life insurance, you have property insurance, like insurance on your house.
Yeah.
You have liability insurance in case someone wants to sue you, but you can't really put an insurance on your paycheck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking completely differently. What are the three most horrible things that can happen in my life? Lose my life, lose my property, and lose my job.
Well,
And so to me, those
but
are
it
the three
says
greatest
based
exposures.
on the
But
insured.
now I understand. Okay, how you said it. Okay. So from an insurer's standpoint, okay. Thank you. You can't put. Okay.
Yeah, he breaks down the question
Got it.
and understand what it's asking. Okay. So it's financial loss.
Okay.
Here. Which of the following transactions will most likely be declined due to lack of insurable interests? A parent buys insurance on their adult child, an employee insures their employer on the fear of losing their job,
B.
a spouse insures the other spouse, a local hospital insures its sheet of surgery.
B.
B.
B. While blood and business can be used as a way to remember the insurable interest relationship, employees do not have an insurable interest relationship with their employer. In comparing the purchase of individual life insurance to acquiring group life, which statement is not true? Once again, individual and group life. And which statement is not true? A group insurance is automatic and requires less medical information than individual coverage. That could be true. Group life tends to have a lower premium per person than individual life. That could be true. Both provide a tax-free death benefit. Group insurance has a non-deductible premium, while individual insurance has a tax-deductible premium to the payer. Once again, not true. Which is not true. Group insurance premium paid by the employer is tax deductible to the employer, while individual insurance premium is non-deductible. Only to the employer. It's the tax deductible. Doesn't pay for it. Everybody got that? A contract or policy which is considered a savings or investment vehicle used for the purpose of accumulating investment funds to be paid out sometime in the future through a withdrawal provision describes which of the following. What did we just talk about, annuity? An annuity, a term life insurance policy, a long-term care policy, or all of the above? Annuity. And that's the one you want right there. Of the three, only an annuity will be considered a savings or investment vehicle. This is giving you the definition of annuity. If you know what annuity is, you know. Of the reasons that a person will purchase an annuity is that they are concerned with the risk of what?
living beyond their,
Living
living beyond their money, outliving their retirement.
To qualify for ordinary life insurance,
D.
having to pay taxes on the retirement savings, outliving their retirement income. D. Smart. Keep answering. Anybody else? No. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. An annuity issued by an insurance company is the only investment in the world that can guarantee a lifetime income no matter how long the annuity lives. Therefore, an annuity will protect a person from the risk of outliving all the financial resources.
One of the things we learned in class is that life insurance ends when you're 100. So if you live to 102 or whatever, it ends at 100.
Yeah.
Where the annuity doesn't end until you die.
Yeah. Again, more annuity. The annuitant is about to retire and wants to begin receiving payments from the insurer. He has selected life income with 10-year certain option. Which of the following is the best description of the payments the insurer will make? They will be made for 120 months, assuming that annuitant lives that long. They will be made for 120 months and then will decrease and be paid for life. They will be paid for at least 120 months or the remainder of the annuitant's life. They will be paid up to the annuitant's death and thereafter to his named beneficiary. C, right? C. Like Brett said, joint life. Therefore, to his named beneficiaries, as you guys said, D. This is asking you what life income with 10-year certain option. This doesn't say joint life. Single. So the answer is C. What is C? They will pay at least for 120 months or the remainder of the annuitant's life. More annuities. Ron is paid into an annuity that will be issued to help supplement his retirement in a few years. Okay, we gotta know what a few years is, right? His premium payments go into the insurance separate account. Another keyword, separate account. You gotta know what that means. And they purchase accumulation units. What does that mean? What type of annuity did Ron buy? Anybody know? A, periodic premium immediate annuity, B, fixed annuity, C, guaranteed qualified plan annuity, or D, variable annuity. D. 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 It's D. All insurers must maintain a separate account for their variable products during the accumulation phase of a variable annuity premium payments purchase accumulation unit. Once again, the keywords are variable. Understand what variable means? You'll know that this is going to vary. Insure separate account, and then depreciate accumulation units. During the accumulation phase. I know, we'll stop deeper into it. You know, because it varies. There's an option. It's not a basic annuity where you put money in and you expect it a certain amount of time. If an agent currently has an inactive license, this means what? What is inactive?
It's expired.
You think it's expired?
It's inactive.
Inactive.
Inactive is the key. It's expired. It's not.
Or not in use?
Not in use.
D.
B. It's the license. An inactive license, it's a valid license. However, the agent does not have a current appointment on file with the commissioner, the insurance commissioner, State of California. The agent does not have an insured that they are authorized to work or represent and thus cannot transact any insurance business until they do get an appointment from an insurer, meaning they're not properly licensed. They know who they are, but it's not active. There's not an active license to conduct business.
Meaning they're not appointed to a certain group or a certain company.
Yeah. Meaning they know who they are, but they don't know. You know. Health and disability. Some of the stuff doesn't go deep into it. If you want, we'll go over this. Because in disability insurance, the period of time between when the disability started and the commencement of benefits is when the disability started and when they started receiving the benefits, which is commencement.
Grace period.
Elimination period. Long-term care and disability income policies do not begin to pay out benefits until the certain number of days of illnesses have elapsed.
And they call that an elimination period?
But they don't pay the benefits.
Okay.
I guess you'd have to understand it.
Yeah, once again, you understand the terminology?
Yeah, I have to go back to the glossary and look at those.
That's what I did. I wrote down all the words. What do they mean? What does this mean? What does that mean? So when they ask me certain questions like this, I know, okay, this is not it. This is not it. This is not it.
Well, you can pass online. Thing does. They have
Yeah,
a glossary.
has
At the end of each module, they have a glossary. Yeah. So,
Social Security system has 4 main benefit programs: disability, retirement, and Medicare are the 3 of them. The 4th program is rehabilitation, medical, hospice, survivors.
Survive.
B attest to Medicare. Drums can be used to remember the 4 parts of the Social Security: disability, retirement, Medicare, and survivors. You need somebody that has worked and the kids receive their Social Security for the parents. When the insured becomes disabled under the requirements of the policy, which of the following provisions keeps the policy in force even though the owner stops making the premium payments? What's keeping this policy in force?
C.
Waiver of premium. This is a type of insurance protection under an insurance policy. Waiver of premium results in the insurance company giving up their right to premium payments during a period of disability. The policy remains in force in all aspects until the insured is no longer disabled or they die. Everybody understand what this is? Because this, when you're out there with clients, sometimes this comes up a lot, the waiver of premium. These are riders. Everybody know what riders are in insurance? Something attached to something to insurance.
to modify it.
Yeah. An insurance has a terminal illness and needs access to 1/3 of its death benefit to pay mounting medical expenses. Which rider will meet the insurance certain current needs? This is a rider, terminal illness rider. Anybody know what terminal illness means?
Yeah.
You're gonna die. So then, what you're asking is that if you have this rider on your policy, you could take out 1/3 of it to pay for medical expenses.
B, that's it. So,
Accelerated living benefits. What does it do? It accelerates your payments. Yes. Or partially. Yeah, but it is what it is, you know. The accelerated death benefit or living needs rider pays a portion of the death benefit before death if the insured has a terminal illness. Which of the following riders will provide for an insured to increase the face amount of their life insurance policy without proof of insurability? Once again, a rider and increase the face amount. Does anyone know what that is?
Max.
Guaranteed
Guaranteed
insurability,
insurability.
future purchase option, waiver of premium,
Okay.
accelerated death benefit, double indemnity rider. A, the guaranteed insurability rider option allows the insurer to purchase additional amounts of insurance at specific times regardless of health status, but at an increase in premium. Sometimes it's every year. You can get that. It'll increase. Category life insurance. Which statement about life insurance code and ethics is not true? This could be a tricky one, right? Because it's asking you not true, and it's going to ask you about life insurance code and ethics, meaning doing the right thing. Marketing plans to offer free insurance as an inducement to buy or rent real property are prohibited.
That's true.
Acts of fair and unfair discrimination are prohibited. Agents are not permitted to advertise that an insurer is a member of an insurance guarantee association. The act of twisting could result in a license suspension for up to 3 years.
CD.
The acts of fair discrimination, such as charging older clients a higher premium, are illegal.
I don't understand that. They're looking for the false statement.
Yes, if it's giving you, that's not the code of ethics of what you can do.
But isn't B a true statement?
No, because
It
they're not
says-
saying
it
it's
says-
discriminating against
Unfair
what.
discrimination.
It's not stating what the discrimination is about. I mean, it's considered discrimination to charge somebody more for something,
Uh-huh.
yet it's stating it's legal to do it if the insurer is older than younger. I mean, they wouldn't charge a 20-year-old and a 55-year-old the same
Oh,
premium.
because of the word fair in there. An act of unfair discrimination would be prohibited, but an act of fair discrimination, like based on age or something, that is allowed.
Right.
That's why that's not a true statement. Okay.
Yeah, if that was included up here,
Uh-huh.
then it'll change the whole question. But it's asking you are not true. The code of ethics and insurance are not true. And understand, we're breaking it down here.
So C is a true statement?
But when you guys go take the test, it doesn't break it down.
Right, I understand that.
Yeah.
C is a true statement?
Agents are not permitted to advertise that insurance a member of an insurance guarantee association.
Really?
I guess they cannot say they're part of a.
Well, because that would lean towards, getting them to just to buy your product. So,
certain groups of people.
yeah, I forgot what the exact word is for that.
Huh. Okay.
Let's go over this, but I mean, I think it's important. The act of twisting could result in a license suspension for up to 3 years. What is twisting?
Meaning giving false information in order for them to.
Yeah, to buy from you.
Yeah.
Marketing, okay. Marketing plans to offer free insurance. You see a lot of auto
Yeah.
insurance like that, right? $10 insurance, $12.
Right.
It's kind of like a switch and bait kind of thing.
As an inducement to buy or rent real property are prohibited.
That's true.
Yeah, this is a true statement. Does anyone know this?
Okay.
Anyone know this? So, acts of fair and unfair discrimination are prohibited. Once again, put the time in so you understand the breakdown.
Thank you.
We're breaking it down here, but when you actually go take the test, it's not broken down. Or sometimes it'll include this up here, and it'll change this one. But answers. So
Right.
that's why I understand what it's asking you and what these words mean. More life insurance. Which of the following statements about a resident life-only agent licensing is incorrect? Resident life-only agent licensing is incorrect. A licensee has 30 days to update and change an address.
Oh, it has to be
Licensees are required to have an in-state residential address. Yes. Loss of a previous professional license could result in the automatic denial of the life-only license application. A plea of nolo contender is considered a conviction, thus it could be hinder attempts to obtain a life-only license.
A.
A.
A change of address must be filed immediately. Which one is it? It's incorrect. So all these are correct, right?
Right.
You must live in the state you conduct business in. Loss of a previous professional license could result in the automatic denial of the life-only license. And if you had a license before in another area, they could deny you the license in this. A plea of nolo contender is considered a conviction, thus it could hinder like
So
felony.
no contest.
Yeah, even though you, yeah. It was still come up.
Question about that one though. I mean, I know that you're able to transact business in other states. You can get licensed in other states. How would that work then? If it's stating that licenses are required to have a state residential address?
I'm meaning, Primerica has different offices in different states, but their home office is Atlanta.
Right.
Okay. So each individual license has to be licensed for that state. So meaning if you go to another office, Brett has other offices, like in Florida.
Florida, right.
He has an agent there licensed for that. You know, but the way that the Primerica business works, it's different to what other businesses work.
Okay.
Because of the way the payout is, the way the structure is. Like if I wanted to go, how do I explain this?
So would that mean like is your main state of business?
Yes, like
for example,
Brett's-
how would you go to Florida and start transacting business in Florida? Be licensed over there as
You have to
well.
be licensed over there, yes.
Would I have to have a residential address over there in order to be licensed?
Yes, that's what it has to do here.
Okay.
In the state of
So he
conduct
couldn't
business.
have,
No,
so he couldn't have a license to practice in any other state where he's not living.
Where's not a resident?
yeah,
Or else he has to own residences
Yeah.
in all of these states.
his RVP
Okay.
is the one licensed in that business. Like I said, like the way Primerica business is, he gets overrides from it.
Okay.
It's, you know,
Yeah, I get it.
because of the way Primerica is structured. Is that clear?
No,
No?
I know when I was licensed before, I was talking with Brett about this years ago. I don't remember what it's called. There's some kind of waiver form that you can get
Mhm.
to conduct business in another state,
Okay.
even though you don't live in that state.
Mhm.
I don't remember what it was, but it's some kind of, you got to jump through some hoops, but you can do business in another state even though you don't live in that state.
Okay.
But
It's
this
real confusing.
But in the question, it specifically says a resident life-only agent.
Right.
So it's specifically saying that type of agent as opposed to an agent that isn't necessarily a resident-owned life-owned.
Well, resident life only means he can only sell life insurance.
Oh, no, he has to be a resident.
No, but, okay,
I
but
think the key word is here is agent. It's an individual versus a business. If it was a business, I think it would be allowed.
I think what she's trying to say right now is that in particular, they're talking about a resident life only, which if someone works in different states, for example, jumping through those hoops, they'd be considered something else.
Not a resident.
They
not
wouldn't be
not a
considered a
resident
resident life
life-only
only, they'd be
agent.
considered
Okay.
whatever.
I never heard that term, a resident life-only agent.
Because I know because of the auto Answer Financial, the one we do auto with, I know those agents have different licenses for all different states, but they conduct business here.
But they aren't necessarily a resident of each of those states.
No, they
But
live
this
here.
specifically says a resident
Yes.
Right.
life-only agent. So they're asking the question for that terminology of a resident life-only agent.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
an agent here in America that I know that my nephew lives in Nevada, and I talked to him about America to see if he could join. This lady that is in his office, I told her, well, my nephew needs life insurance. She goes, where does he live? And I go, Nevada. He says, I have license there to conduct business in it. So she went out there, he got covered
really?
over there, and she lives here.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. There's life insurance agent, and then there's a resident life insurance agent. So this is a specifically type of
For the
Resident,
resident.
yeah.
that
The
live
question is this, right?
And that's why that word resident is a key
Right.
reason for the answer.
I see. Here? Yes, sir. Thanks, Peter. Ms. Anderson needs to invest the proceeds from her late husband's life insurance. She invests a portion of the money into an annuity. Since she is 62 and is still working, she decides to purchase a single premium deferred annuity. Deferred being put off. She won't need an income for a few more years. What should the agent make sure that Ms. Anderson understands? As a life insurance product, the future proceeds are tax-free. She has a 30-day free-look period in case she changes her mind. Since she only has a few more years before she retires, she should invest with the objective to make as much money as possible. Her time horizon is limited. She will have to begin taking withdrawals within 6 months of receiving the proceeds. As someone who is 60 plus, she gets the 30-day free look period and should invest cautiously. This goes deeper and deeper too. Understand the goal is to pass the test. Understand the stuff. Once you pass it, then you put all the time to learning more in depth about it. You know?
The big thing about that is as a senior, you get 30 days, and I think otherwise you get 15.
No.
Yeah, something different.
It's 10 to 30 days. But I think for example, 6 year over, it's a minimum of 30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for,
For under 60, it's 10 to 30, depending on it.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
We just have that.
B.
Brilliant.
Oh, right.
Bob and Neil are partners in a law firm together. If one of them were to pass away, they want to make sure that their surviving family will receive a fair value of their stake in the business. What life insurance arrangement will be most suited for transitioning the business during this time of loss?
Buy sell.
Executive bonus plan,
C.
split dollar plan, buy-sell agreement, and preferred
Buy-sell.
compensation
Buy-sell.
plan.
Buy sell.
C. Buy-sell agreements allowing surviving partners to buy out the family of the deceased partner, or the business may continue as the death of the insured. Has anybody seen this? Yeah.
Well, there again, they're talking about wage goals.
Yeah. They both have a business. They want to make sure when they pass away that they get whatever, buy out the other partner, so then the other partner gets a policy to cover in case they want for them to continue the business. The client's flexible premium is invested into a separate account. What type of insurance product did he purchase? Client's flexible premium is invested into a separate account.
Very variable.
Universal life, an annuity, variable life, universal life. Once again, these are all true categories with different meanings. Variable universal life. Any universal policy is categorized by flexible premium. So any universal policy has a flexible premium. What's a flexible premium? Meaning
It might not be the same
and
amount
it
over
changes.
time.
The premium is the money for the payments. Any variable product is categorized by the use of separate accounts. So any variable product is categorized by the use of a separate account. Yes. There's so many breakdowns of it. A beneficiary decides to take the option that will pay the largest amount per payment, knowing after death no money will be paid out to any descendants. The settlement option is life guarantee, life with period term, life income straight life, life refund income. Again, life income settlement option pays the beneficiary an income until they die. Since no further payments will be made to their survivors, the insurer can afford to pay them a large income versus the other options given, which is the settlement option that they're asking. After 12 years, the policy owner decides she no longer needs the large death benefit on her whole life policy. She calls you, her agent, and you tell her she can use a reduced paid-up non-forfeiture option. Reduced paid-up non-forfeiture option. Which of the following is not true about the new policy? Which is not true? The new policy will require no further premium payments. The new policy will expire in 10 years. The new death benefit is much lower than the original policy. The new policy will be in effect until the age of 100 or until she dies, whichever occurs first. You want to take guess? B. B. With the reduced paid-up non-forfeiture option, the policy will still be a whole life policy. Therefore, it will mature at age 100, like the original policy. It will have a lower death benefit than the original.
In that term, reduced paid up non-forfeiture, what is non-forfeiture referring to?
Meaning that they won't forfeit the policy, but they'll still get it.
Oh, they still honor it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, keywords to learn.
And paid up means that she's already paid in the maximum.
No, paid up meaning that she won't have to pay until then, but she'll still be covered for a certain amount.
Oh, okay. But she's not paying more premiums?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which of the following statements about the process of replacement is incorrect? Replacement of what? Incorrect. What do we replace here?
Policy?
Policies. The replacing insurer must notify the original insurer within 3 days of the potential replacement. The agent and the applicant must sign a statement as to whether a replacement will be involved in the transaction. A copy of the signed replacement disclosure statement must be left with the applicant. Copies of any written illustrations or comparisons used in the process of making the replacement do not need to be included with the submitted application.
D.
Again, incorrect. It's D. When you submit it, you don't need to submit.
So you do have to submit.
They have to have
That's
a
why
written
it's a process.
illustration.
You do, but to the insured. Not when you submit it to the company.
No, they're looking for the false.
They need the written illustration. They
Copies of
require-
any written illustration compares used in the process of making the replacement do not need to be included with the submitted
And they're looking
application.
But they do need to be included. That's why.
And
it's
that's why
called-
that's why the question is asking for
Yes.
the incorrect statement. They do need.
Correct.
Because they do, not
They do
not.
Yeah, and then to protect the client, disclosures need to be signed and left with the client, as well as submitted to all insurers involved. Anything used to make the sale should also be submitted. So they want to know what comparisons you offer to replace that, because a lot of the whole life agents, people don't have terms and they replace with whole life, giving you less insurance, you know?
Right.
That's why Primerica started. To give you term, give you more for your
More
money.
coverage for you.
And I think that's why this was in place, because other companies started, their policies started being replaced.
Right.
Pete, who is 35 years old, has a life insurance policy with a death benefit of $160,000. At age of 65, the cash value of his policy will be $150,000. What type of policy does he have? Whole life, endowment to the age of 65, Life paid up at 65, a 30-year term plan.
See,
A policy that matures at any age earlier than 100 is an endowment. So this policy is an endowment. I didn't really see much of this in the test.
Where does it say it matures?
At age 65, cash value of the policy is 150,000
Oh, so it's the same amount.
as the death benefit, so that means it's
Yeah.
matured.
Okay.
Roger, who is 35 years old, has a whole life insurance policy with a death benefit of 150,000. At age 65, he will no longer make premium payments.
yeah, we just have that.
When will the cash value policy be 150,000?
Yeah.
Similar to the other one, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's different.
Because that's when you the age.
No longer make premium payment.
Around their whole life, even if a limited payment plan still matures at age 100. They all mature at age 100.
Hold on.
Yes. In the insurance planning process, the blackout period is, again, what's the blackout period? The period of time in which a policy can be resigned due to the applicant's
Rescinded.
rescinded due to the applicant's intentional or unintentional misstatements on the application. The period of time in which the policy is still enforced despite non-payment. The period of time after the youngest child reaches 16, but therefore the widow reaches 60, in which the surviving spouse receives no Social Security benefits. The period of time in which an employee is not yet eligible to join a group life insurance policy.
B.
C. The blackout period is a feature on Social Security designation when no benefits will be paid to the surviving spouse of the deceased worker. So blackout period pertains to Social Security. Okay, we got that. So here we could be thinking insurance, policy, but it's actually pertaining to Social Security. Once again, learn what these words mean, what are they categorized with, and you'll learn where they belong. After the insured passes away, it is discovered that the policy was rated based upon an incorrect age. If the client lied about their age when filling out the application 8 years earlier, what effect will this have on the benefit? They will pay out.
They adjust it.
Does this happen? Yep.
They adjust it.
Can they adjust it? The policy is incontestable. Full claim will be paid. The policy will be rescinded, and it is incontestable. The proceeds payable will be adjusted. The shortage of premium will be deducted from the death benefits. See? When the age is misstated on the application, the death benefit will be adjusted to reflect the correct age. They want to pay you more than. The term aleatory is best defined by which of the following? An unequal change in value. Only one party to the contract is bounded by a legal enforceable obligation. If in dispute, the courts rule in favor of the insured, not the insured. Both parties to the contract are required to disclose to the other all material information. Insurance is designed so that those who don't make claims help pay for those who do make claims. But it is possible that policy owners could pay a small amount of premium before the insured dies, and the beneficiary will receive a large death benefit. I know this happened. Anybody know Martin?
Yeah.
I know this happened to his brother.
Yep.
What?
that he paid a small portion into the policy, and they paid him. And I used to live in the same building, Mario.
And they paid what?
They paid the death benefit.
Yeah.
Oh,
You only pay one premium payment, and they paid up.
And it wasn't even processed yet.
Yeah.
It wasn't even processed, but since he was
Then,
since he qualified and everything was legit and the application was done prior to, they still paid out the payment.
Yeah.
That was one of Ben's. Yeah, he was paid hard.
yeah. Remember that's what happened to his brother? How does an income testability clause benefit the insured? Income testability clause. A, it dictates that if the insured and beneficiary die together and the order of death is unknown, the beneficiary is presumed to have died first. B, it protects the death benefit from attachment by creditors after the insured passes away. C, it keeps the policy from being canceled if after 2 years it is discovered that there was an error, concealment, or misrepresentation by the policy owner. Or D, it keeps the policy from lapsing should the premium go unpaid by borrowing from the cash balance.
B.
Contestability.
B.
C, the contestability clause keeps the policy from being canceled after the insurance death despite the applicant's misdeeds. Pretty common sense.
Yeah.
Under the cost of living adjustment rider, the policy, cost of living adjustment. What is it adjusting for?
Inflation.
We will see an increase in its face value each year by a set percentage. B will increase or decrease along with the CPI. The premium will adjust accordingly. No evidence of insurability is required. C will only increase with the inflation rate. There will be an additional premium charged, but no evidence of insurability is required. D will allow the insured to purchase additional insurance with evidence of insurability. C. C, the COLA rider is tied to the inflation index, which permits the death benefit to increase periodically to offset the effects of inflation. The face amount will not increase in times of deflation. Goes deeper to the terminology, certain words. Doesn't say like put the time in at home to learn the terminology because you know some of this stuff can go really deep. Like I said before, the focus is learn what it's asking you, so that way you know what to answer or what not to answer correctly, incorrectly, or correctly. Which statement is an accurate description of life insurance policy dividends? What is a dividend?
Excess funds.
Yeah.
Yes, exit.
Something you get back. A, they are likely to be larger in non-participating policies. B, they are not taxable and are not guaranteed. C, stock insurers pay dividends to policy owners. Mutual insurance pay dividends to shareholders. They are guaranteed to be paid and they are taxable as income.
C. Oh, yeah. What's that? A tax settlement right now, here.
The policy dividends considered a return of excess premium by a mutual insured are not taxable, since the original premium was paid with after-tax dollars. Thus, these refunds are not taxable. Future dividends cannot be predicted nor guaranteed.
I don't understand why C isn't true, but why so?
Because the definition for that one's backwards. Stock insurance pays to shareholders, not to us.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I was seeing what I wanted to see. Yeah, okay. It's backwards. Okay.
Gloria owns an annuity in which she has invested $5,000 a year for 10 years. She is currently receiving $8,000 annually from her annuity. By the time all of the principal and interest is paid out, Gloria will have been paid $100,000. How much of the annual benefit is taxable? 3,000. Half? Or less than half?
Well, totally, if she put in 50,000 altogether, she'll have been paid 100,000, and only what she paid in is, what she paid in is what's taxable, so 4,000 a month, since she's receiving 8,000, so I'll say B.
What she paid in or what she received?
I think what she paid in.
Half?
Yeah.
Total investment amount is $50,000. Total account value is $100,000. $50,000 divided by 100,000 is half. Half of 8,000 is 4,000. That means 4,000 is excluded from taxation, and $4,000 is taxable. Formulas for this stay the same. Just the value amount changes. But when you go take the test, it gives you a simple scenario.
What you have to know is that she only pays taxes on the amount she put in, not what was earned and ultimately paid out to her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's usually average. So it keeps it simple. You don't think you have to break down this whole, So I want you guys to focus on question, correct answer. Question, correct answer, you can pass it. Because the goal of this class is for you to pass that test. Saturday training, when we have these classes, sometimes I haven't been here until Saturday, but sometimes breaks down stuff like that. More in depth. We're going to go over stuff like that. All of the following statements are true about participating and non-participating policies. Except. Yes. A, they are sometimes referred to as par and non-par. B, participating policies allow a policy owner to share in a mutual company's divisible surplus in the form of dividends. C, non-participating policies issue dividends to shareholders. Non-participating policy issue dividends to policy owners. Kind of complicated, right? I didn't remember what the difference between participating and non-participating. I didn't focus on shareholders, policy owners. I just wanted to pass the damn test. So what I did, I just focus on the answer. Dividends and non-participating policies are paid to shareholders.
How did you know that?
But hold on, I think this is incorrect though. C says shareholders. Right?
I thought non-participating policies doesn't give you.
Or they're looking for the false statement.
They're
looking for the false statement.
Yeah. Yes.
So, but can somebody explain to me what is a participating policy and what's a non-participating policy? I don't know the difference between the two.
Well, I remember it.
Well, somebody participates or somebody doesn't. I guess.
Yeah. When you participate,
Nah,
you're
it means
participating with the company, and that's why you get dividends at the end if they overpay.
Participating in what way?
Like, you pay into it.
You contribute to the insurance or whatever.
In other words,
Like
you're
group
paying
policy.
premium, right? And and so this company says, okay, we're participating together. You all are paying premiums, and if we have X number of dollars left from having overpayment at the end of the year, we're going to give you some dividends back. Okay, if it's a non-participating,
non-participating is you don't pay.
And a non-participating, I don't pay a premium?
Group insurance.
It's group insurance.
Group insurance is
Oh,
non-participating.
it's like contributory and non-contributory.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Changing the terminology. Meaning it's telling you if you do participate and you have excess of premiums, and they'll give you the dividends. If you don't participate, then you don't get those dividends. Once again, you're changing the words here.
So the non-participating meaning that the people who are insured won't get it. Only the people that pay in. The non-participating, which is the shareholders. That's why I made the correct answer, because that's
The false one, that's the false answer. Okay.
That's tricky.
Okay, so only somebody who participates could ever get a dividend.
exactly.
Right.
Okay, got it.
I even have to do it.
Yep.
Got it.
Okay, I'm not safe.
We're looking for the false statement.
Yeah,
The exception.
that's all the way. I mean,
Okay.
Because they are issued,
Okay.
not issued.
the client has missed her premium payment on her cash value policy, talking about cash value, and the grace period has also lapsed. The policy is still in force because her insured has been deducting the cost of the premium from her cash value. What provision allows this? You guys know what cash value
Policy is
is?
still in
That's what happens when it eats
It's
itself.
the waiver of premium.
Automatic premium loan, income tax rate clause, reinstatement provision, overdraft protection. Automatic premium loan. If included in the cash value policy, automatic premium loans allow insurers to subtract the missed premiums from the cash value of the loan to keep a policy from inadvertently lapsing from non-payment. This will continue until the client begins paying again. When the cash value runs out, interest will be charged on these loans. Sometimes when the premium goes up, they take it off the cash value to cover the difference. That's something that agents will tell the clients. The whole life payments. That's why America came up with the term by-term invested difference, because it is included in this whole life. It eat itself.
So what did Primerica come up?
By-term invested difference because of this. Because this is what they were selling.
Because it's such a shame.
Yeah. You gotta pay interest on
your own money.
On your own money. Yeah.
That's what they explained when they said cash value. With life insurance, they say, oh, gee, you could pay for your kids' college. And you, first of all, for a medical emergency or whatever, I think it said you had to wait 6 months.
Yes.
And second of all, you pay interest on your own money.
Yeah.
You're paying it back.
Yep.
Crazy of the world. It's your money you pay interest.
Bob, the owner and insured, has a non-participating whole life policy. Keyword. For $50,000. He never misses a payment and has never borrowed from cash value. Bob turned 100 years old today. How much of the cash value is he entitled?
Wait a minute, if it was non-participating, how can he have payments?
Again, keywords, whole life, 100 years. Is this one of those policies insured?
He gets $50,000.
Pay all of it, $50,000. The whole life policy, mature or endowed at age 100. If the insurer has not died by age, they are guaranteed the face amount of the policy minus any outstanding policy loans. In the previous question, you know,
Well, I understand that. Mature at 100, but I guess I'm still misunderstanding what a non-participating life policy is. I thought that was where you didn't pay any premiums, like a group life insurance, for instance. It was free to you and was paid for by your employer or something. So non-participating must mean something else. That's what I thought. Because it says he never misses a payment. So obviously he paid into this non-participating policy, so I don't understand what a non-participating policy is.
Meaning that whatever he pays into, whatever dividends are accumulated by his of what he contributes, he gets none of that. Only his insurance company does. So the policy he purchases is non-participating, meaning that he doesn't get any dividends.
So the term participating and non-participating refers to the insurance company, the insurer, not the insured. Oh, so it has nothing to do with whether or not you pay premiums or not for your insurance. Oh, okay, it has to do with whether or not that particular company allows you to participate in their dividends.
Right.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. How would that change, the question have changed if it had been a participating policy?
which of the
And-
following? Okay.
Well, I was just saying, on that previous question, how would that question have changed
Well,
if
you
it
wouldn't
had
know,
been a participating whole life
but you
policy?
wouldn't know because his dividends are given to him.
Oh, they're paid out annually? You can't defer them and just keep growing?
From what I know,
Hold on.
And in whole life policy, you have to take the dividend annually if it's a participating policy?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I
okay.
think you're talking more into annuities.
yeah. That's the only time you can have anything deferred.
Oh, you could defer if it's an
Yeah,
annuity.
because he's paying on a $50,000 life insurance policy.
Oh, okay.
So that's what he's paying into. So
Okay.
whatever, if it's a participating, whatever he was overcharged for, he gets back at the end of the year.
Oh, it's kind of like my,
Non-participating, meaning that
my sick
whatever.
leave is paid out by my employer every year. They don't let me carry it over indefinitely.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
That's,
'cause
all right.
see how it jumps from annuity to life, whole life.
Okay, but an annuity, you can keep deferring your dividends. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how it keeps going. Okay.
Which of the following policy riders is or frequently found in life insurance policies? Once again, it's a rider, something attached to a life policy. Cost of living rider, accidental death and
All of the above.
waiver premium, all of the above.
All of the above.
These are all frequently found in life insurance policies. That's, if you look at life insurance policies, they have all that option. It's a rider.
Right.
It's not a common thing that's attached to it. Something that's attached. That's
Is
a
it,
rider.
it's like an option?
Yes.
So it's not something that
Automatic.
if you it's automatic. Yeah, it's not automatic.
And it modifies the provisions of the main policy.
That's what rider means. So the keyword. If you see that in insurance, it means it's okay. What is it attaching? Which of the following will an insurer use to protect against the negative effect of inflation on the future purchasing power of their life or disability policy? Guarantee insurability rider, inflation offset rider, cost of living rider, increased benefit rider, cost of living rider, COLA, keyword, is used to keep pace with inflation. The amount of increase is tied to an increase in an inflation index such as a consumer price index. So it keeps up with inflation. So if you have policy a couple of years back for $50,000 now is not much. So you have that rider to increase the cost of living that will keep up with basic inflation. So you have 100,000 plus whatever, you know.
Is that considered a rider?
Yes.
Okay.
Cost of living rider. Anything that has this word attached to it, it means it's attaching this meaning to the policy.
Can I add on? Is that kind of like you're adding on the to the original policy?
Yes. Like they also like the umbrella coverage, which is you have your basic coverage, but then you have something to cover on top of it. That's what we call umbrella coverage. Who is age 50 has been paying premiums on his whole life policy, instead of a whole life, for more than 15 years, and now has a need to use about a third of his available cash for a short period of time. He does not want to give up his insurance and can afford to continue paying premiums. What advice would you give Larry? Look for other available funds. Policy cash value is unavailable for loans before 59.5 due to IRS tax penalties. Tell Larry he would have purchased term insurance because whole life policy has no cash value. C, the only way to access the cash value is through a surrender of the policy. You can have up to 90% of the cash value to purchase other insurance. D, tell Larry to take the policy loan, continue paying premiums to prevent a lapse, and also recommend that he repay the principal and interest on the loan.
Yes.
B, it will not be a good advice to tell Larry to surrender his policy for the full amount of cash value and then purchase other insurance. First, he doesn't need the full amount, and secondly, he will be older and his insurability may have changed. By taking a policy loan and paying it back, he will ultimately maintain the full face amount of coverage and the full cash value will be restored. Very deep. Does anybody have like, questions or concerns about taking the test? Because I know the questions are a little tricky. They change. Sometimes they go from an annuity to a life policy, and you might confuse the two when you're taking the test. Right? You're still, mine's still on annuities, and they're talking about whole life policies. So that's why you gotta, you know, think about what they're asking you. Look for those keywords on those questions. They're talking about annuity, whole life, you know, whatever it is that they're asking you. Look for that stuff. I mean, I know when you go take the test, you can just scratch paper. You can just write down what the keywords are, so you know what it is that you need to answer. You know, and also when you go there, arrive 30 minutes earlier to de-stress yourself from driving, and you know, besides if there's an accident that could delay 30 minutes. I arrived there like 40 minutes early. It's the parking is hassle-free in where it's at in Burbank. I think it's Burbank.
Yeah.
It's hassle-free. You just park there, and I was there 30 minutes just going over the stuff again. You know, just revising what I did. I studied for like about a week. I took in mine on a Monday. I studied the whole week. Saturday, Sunday, I really crammed down on the question answer. Didn't really focus much on trying to learn how this works, but more on just question and answer, just like a pass. Then is when I pass is when I focus on, okay, how does this work? Let me break this down more. How does this work? You know, so I just wanted that license.
Right.
Okay. Don't spend too much, and you are given a time limit when you go take the test. So you can always go back. You can mark that question, put a little mark on it on the computer.
Yeah.
You can always go back and revisit it.
It says it on the top right.
It's pretty simple. Yeah, it shows you a mark there. Go back. You know, it just puts a little flag on it. You know, I mean, don't stress too much about that. Focus more on question and answer. Question and answer. You know, don't go deep into the topics. It'll confuse you. You know, the whole goal is for you to pass it. You know, if you need to make notes, make them while you're at home. Spend the time now, because once you go in there, they won't let you take anything in. You know, the less you have on you, the better, because they will make you take off your jacket, take off your watch, put your wallet in the locker. You know, yeah. I mean, they're really nice about it. They're not like going into those government facilities, you know. They're really nice. They just put locker, anything in your pocket, everything out, computer, whatever it is that you have. Everything goes into a locker, and then you can now take notes. None of that. Everything has to be up here. You know.
So what'd you put on the scratch paper?
I put the keywords. What it's asking me the questions.
Right.
Like if the question, because like what happened now, we could go over the question, and then at the end it says accept. I wrote down, okay, accept, and then the number, so I could know that it's asking me about accept, because you could really miss that because you're focusing more on trying to answer it, and you forget about the word accept.
So you got it.
So I wrote it down so I know it's asking me to accept what it's not asking.
Right.
Because like what happened earlier, the question D, you know, I was like, wait, it's wrong, but then I totally forgot about the word accept. You know, just little things like that it can throw you off because you miss it, you know.
Another thing that Brett had taught when I first passed my test was that if you don't know the answer to something, flag it, because you might find the answer to that question in
Yes.
another question.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the point.
Yeah. Just like we seen earlier, it'll flip the scenario.
Can you go back and change an answer?
Yes.
At the time you have
Yeah,
it.
and it even asks you at the end. It says, would you like to go back and
Yeah,
Okay.
before you
Review
submit,
stuff.
it'll tell you if you want to go back and
Yeah.
change it, or you could always go back and review it if you have time. Just go back and review it and
Can you
spend the
mark it
time.
for review on the computer?
yeah, it'll say you can tag it, like you
Yeah.
mark it or flag it,
Uh-huh.
and that way, if it's not answered yet, you can always go back and re-answer it. Or if it's something, I guess you can mark it.
Use a scratch page as a
Scratch
review.
numbers.
But that's
Write down, if I miss this one, I'll write it down. I said miss this one, question so and so. then that way you could always go back, spend the time, really think about what they're asking, you know. But always answer a question, don't leave it blank. Right? So that's just a point lost or gain. You know? Has anybody used POL exams on there?
I used to.
Yeah. What do you think about them? Were they easy? Were they...
Well, I thought it was interesting because what they did afterwards is the ones you missed, they went over and had you, and then they did a test after that supposedly included that, but the test after didn't include the ones that
you
did
missed?
that. No, that's, so I found that interesting.
Yes, when I took mine, I used the one we have to do the hours. I used that just to learn the terminology.
Right.
And did some of the tests on there.
Is that like the A, B, and C test?
Yeah. But I really focused on the one Stacy emailed me.
Yeah.
That's the one I really focused on.
The A, B, and C.
Yeah. That's the one I really focused on a lot. And all I did was question, correct answer. Question, correct answer. You know? And some of the terminology. Because some of the language changes on there. It's not that hard.
They said there was a lot of repetition.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Yes. It repeats itself, but you don't see it or you miss it. You could, like you said, the first question could be the question, and at the end it could be the answer. Like, you know. So I would recommend revising the whole thing so you can see if you made it. It's like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. You know. Then you can change that. You know. I guess Stacy wanted me to give you guys out the people that are about to take their test.
Yeah.
Sherry. Oscar. This is what you will need when you go there. Take that stuff with you. Elvira, Castro, Richard. Richard Allen, or oh wait, sorry. Right there. What else is this? And Joseph. Because this is what you will need to when you go there. Take that stuff with you. Don't leave it at home. Because if you don't bring that your scheduling, that you're scheduled to take the test, sometimes they'll ask for it. They didn't ask me for it, but if they do, then they won't let you take it if you don't bring that. Just bring it with you. Be prepared. That way you don't have to go through the hassle of coming back and retaking the test again.
What did you say? Sorry.
The paperwork.
Yeah.
Bring it with you.
Oh, right.
Bring all that with you because it has Stacy prints out your schedule that you're appointed to take the test on that day.
So in fingerprint charge, I have to use a debit card or cash.
I
It
use
says Visa, MasterCard, or cash.
my debit card.
Debit card.
Well, most of them have a Visa logo or.
Okay.
As long as there's a Visa
Visa
logo.
So they're not specific as to whether it was a credit card or debit card, they don't care.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
they won't take cash.
No cash.
No cash.
When did you go?
And only if you pass, take your fingerprints.
Right.
If you do not pass, do not take your fingerprints
20th.
at all.
The 20th.
And Brett wanted me to talk about like my story of how I did this. It's really putting in the time. I have a full-time job, 40+ hours a week. I'm a single dad. I go to school also, working on the associates, and I managed to do this, take my license. You know, so it's just managing your time into what's coming up next. You know, because at first I was just like, you know what, this is overwhelming. I can't do this. I'm taking care of my son. I go to school. I got a 40-hour+ job. I had to make some changes into me. I get up at 4 in the morning, don't go to bed till like 9, 10 o'clock at night. So I don't sleep 4 or 5 hours a day. And because I'm studying my securities now, my full-time job, I got to work on my son's school, and I also got to do my school outside of, you know, because when I met Brett, I was going through a divorce, this and that, And I told Brett, you know what, I can't do this. It's too much. So it's going to be around me. And Brett talks about, you know, that little step he does? Just this is where you're at. This is where you want to see yourself. Take those little steps. So I said, okay, I'll do that. You know, I started taking those little steps. Eventually, I started seeing like the little results, and I said, you know what? Okay, next step. What's the next step? You know, I broke it down just like I broke down this test. When I took it, I broke down what I needed to do to move to the next step. I don't know if did I do a good job?
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, this is my first time doing it.
Wow.
You did a great job.
Good job.
Great
And
job.
this is a step from what Brett was talking about. You know, and
Great.
hopefully this is a benchmark for the next guys taking the test to come up here and do this and teach to the new up and coming people. You know, and the whole basis of this is for it's not hard. You know, just overcoming that fear of doing it. You know, putting the work in, and it'll change. I know it'll change your life, this business, because who knows Bill Little? Yeah. Okay? 10 years ago when I was in business, we were in Palm Springs and I was playing with the son in the pool. His son was 15. Anybody know where his son is at right now? Maybe like $300,000+ a year in this business?
In this business?
Yeah. 10 years later, it's like, wait a minute. He put in the work. Anybody? Mario? Yeah, same thing. He put in the work. Out of Ventura, beach house, Porsche. You know what I mean? He put in the work. So that's where I decided this time around. I said, I'll lose a little bit of sleep to put in the work to change where I'm at. You know? Because coming where I was at to where I'm now, I'm starting all over again. Building life again, building everything. You know? And it's not hard. It's just a decision to even say, you know what, I'll lose an hour today or sleep. Just let me do this. And what I did is I focused every week. I wanted to learn something every week. Whether it's coming to off night or coming to a Saturday training. I wanted to learn one thing a week about this business. And that's what I stuck to, one thing a week. I said, I don't know, I cannot understand the whole concept of it still, especially Brett changing the way he does it. But I tell you, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just badass what he's changed. Right. It too. Yeah.
Last Saturday,
It's
came here and he did a whole thing. And I haven't come that often, right? I saw the whole picture from start to finish. It was so clear and so incredible. And I felt like, wow. I mean, it was just, he came up with this presentation that was just unbelievable.
And it's teachable.
Yeah.
It's teachable. That's the main thing, that it's teachable. Somebody else could do this. You know, just one thing a week, learn one thing a week. That's what I did. You know, hopefully you guys got something out of this class, because I did.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Let's do it.
You know,
How many kids do you have?
just one. It's a 9-year-old boy.
A 9-year-old boy.
Yeah, 9-year-old boy. And I live in Lancaster.
Wow.
I still gotta take that drive, so.
Hopefully still work.
Yeah. So I just didn't see objections anymore. I didn't see them. I said, whatever I have to do, I gotta do it. You know?
That positive, I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I told Brett when I was living on the wards, I was sleeping on the floor with my son. And I told him I can't do this. He wanted to meet with me. I said, I can't meet with you. Like, I don't have nowhere to meet with you. Because I'm sleeping on the floor, so I'm taking somebody's house. And he said, it doesn't matter. Just come. Just let me just go. We'll talk. And when he talked to me about what he's doing, it's like, okay, I like this. I like what you're doing. And I believe in him because I've seen him take people from here to up here, sky high. Just taking them up there. I've seen him taking people up there. Yeah. I said, I believe in this man and what he's doing and where he's going. So, I mean, it's
Great
a lot of
job.
good things.
Yeah, you should be really proud.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Any questions, anything?
Is there going to be another, like,
We'll talk to Brett. This is something that we haven't done this in a while. he asked me, and I said, yeah, dude, whatever I can do for the team, whatever I can be a part of this, I want to do it because this is what I want to do.
I think you wanted to do more.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, brother.
All right, thank you.
Fantastic.
I think I have my schedule,
Ken?
but I think I need a little bit more study.
Okay.
Before we go.
So, everybody in here is already done all the modules and stuff online, right?
I've got half of the third module left to do, the health and life.
What am I?
Then you can pass,
Well,
this
now
online
mine-
study instead of going to the class,
Oh,
the study,
I went to
the study
class.
modules. Yes.
I need to talk.
I've done the California Code and Ethics, and I've done all the life, and I just started the health and life yesterday, and it's got about 15 little chapter segments, and I think I've done 3 of them. So I have about 12 more chapter segments to do.
First teacher that I went with was so incredible. She's been doing it for over 10 years. She was absolutely fabulous. All kinds of acronyms, and she was incredible.
Broke it down, real.
Huh?
She broke it down.
She was fabulous.
Thank you.
She gets in.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Your first time.
Yes.
Great teacher, let me tell you.
Thank
Speaking
you.
from, as a teacher, let me tell you. Excellent.
Hopefully we can do this more.
Oops, there's my phone.
You know, I have some people that pass, we can have them, come up and talk more.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Contribute also,
Let people know it. You can do it.